Your electric company already installed the hardware to cut your bill by 20%. They used your tax dollars to do it. Then they never told you how to turn it on. 75% of American homes have a smart meter on the side of the building right now. 4% have ever used what it can do. Let me say that again, 4%. The average household pays a flat rate for electricity, same price at 2 in the morning as 5 in the afternoon. But producing power at 5 p.m. costs your utility 3 times more than producing it at 2 a.m. Under a time of use rate plan, shifting your dishwasher and laundry to off-peak hours saves $500 to $900 a year. In California, one family cut $76 a month by changing nothing except when they pressed start. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to call your utility, request the rate plan they will not volunteer, and restructure your daily routine to keep hundreds of dollars a year that you're currently handing over for no reason. The setting I'm about to show you is not inside your meter. It is inside your utility's billing system. And understanding why they never told you about it requires understanding what happened in 2009. Welcome to the channel. If you believe that information paid for by the public should serve the public, you are in the right place. What we do here is simple. We recover knowledge that institutions bury, not through conspiracy theories, through financial incentives and structural indifference. The system does not hide things in vaults. It hides them in fine print. All and every video we make is a flashlight pointed at that fine print. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing what it illuminates. Let us start with the infrastructure your taxes already paid for. In 2009, the United States Congress passed the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. You probably remember it as the stimulus package. Buried inside that legislation was a massive investment in energy infrastructure. The Department of Energy received billions in funding for something called Smart Grid Investment Grants. The stated purpose was clear: modernize the electrical grid, empower consumers with real-time data about their energy use, enable time-differentiated pricing so households could save money by shifting when they consumed electricity. The rollout was enormous. By 2019, 94.8 million smart meters were installed across the United States. The Edison Foundation tracked the numbers. By 2020, roughly 75% of American households had a smart meter mounted on their home. That meter records your electricity usage in 15-minute intervals. It knows when you run your dryer. It knows when your air conditioner cycles on. It knows when your house is asleep. That data was supposed to be yours. Now here's where it gets interesting. In 2015, the Energy Information Administration conducted a survey. They asked American households about their awareness of smart meters and usage data. 22% of households knew whether they even had a smart meter. 8% knew they had access to detailed usage data, and 4% had ever looked at it. Follow that funnel. 75% have the meter, 22% know they have one, 8% know about the data, 4% have opened it. Billions in public money built the system. Almost nobody was told it existed. The meters are there. The data is there. What is missing is the billing structure that turns that data into savings. It is called a time of use rate plan. And here is how it works. What you're learning today about your electricity bill is the surface of something much larger. Underneath it are dozens of programs that utilities are required to offer but never required to advertise. Demand response credits that pay you to reduce usage during grid emergencies. Medical baseline allowances that give discounted rates to households with medical equipment. Community solar subscriptions that let renters access solar savings without owning a panel. These programs collectively represent millions in unclaimed savings every year. We catalog all of them in the vault. Link is in the description. No fluff, no filler, just the documentation trail that leads to money your utility hopes you never find. But before any of those matter, you need to understand the one plan that delivers the biggest savings with the smallest change. Let me show you the math. Right now, most American households are on what is called a flat rate. You pay the same price per kilowatt hour whether you use electricity at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. Sounds fair. It is not, because producing electricity at 3 p.m. on a hot Tuesday in July costs your utility dramatically more than producing it at 3 a.m. on a cool Saturday in October. Flat rate billing hides that reality. Time of use pricing reveals it. Here's what the actual numbers look like. Rocky Mountain Power, which serves Utah, Wyoming, and Idaho, filed a rate schedule with a clear split. On-peak rate, 16.85 cents per kilowatt hour. Off-peak rate, 4.82 cents per kilowatt hour. That is a 3.5 to 1 ratio. You pay 3.5 times more for the same electricity depending on what time you use it. Xcel Energy in Colorado finalized its 2025 rate structure in February. Their peak to off-peak ratio sits at 2.7 to 1. In 2022, Colorado's Public Utilities Commission approved Xcel's transition to default time of use rates. New customers are automatically enrolled. Existing customers were given the option. Most never switched. Now look at California. Pacific Gas and Electric's summer on peak rate reaches 74 cents per kilowatt hour. 74 cents. Southern California Edison offers a plan called TOU Prime for customers with battery storage. Off-peak rate, 24 cents. The spread between California's peak and off-peak is not a gap. It is a canyon. This is not theoretical. Oklahoma Gas and Electric ran one of the most documented time-of-use pilot programs in the country. They enrolled thousands of residential customers. The results were published. Participants reduced peak demand by 30%. Average summer savings exceeded $150 per household. Customers reported no meaningful sacrifice. They ran their dishwashers later. They pre-cooled their homes before 4 p.m. They shifted laundry to weekends. That was it. In California, a family consuming 1,200 kilowatt hours per month reported saving $76 every month after switching to a time-of-use plan. That is an 18% reduction, not from using less electricity, from using the same electricity at different hours. And here is a detail most people miss. Rocky Mountain Power and Pacific Power both offer a first-year guarantee on their time-of-use plans. If you end up paying more than you would have on your old flat rate, they credit the difference. Your overpayment is capped at 10%. The safety net exists. They just do not wave it around. So the rates are real. The savings are documented. The question you should be asking is this: why have I never heard of this? Follow the money. It always answers the question. Regulated utilities earn revenue through a specific mechanism. They build infrastructure, substations, transmission lines, peaker plants. They file the cost with their state public utilities commission. The commission approves a rate of return on that capital investment. The utility collects that return from ratepayers every year for the life of the asset. Now think about what happens when customers shift off peak. Peak demand drops. When peak demand drops, the utility needs fewer peaker plants, fewer grid upgrades, less capital investment. And less capital investment means a smaller rate base. A smaller rate base means lower returns. Lower returns mean unhappy shareholders. Customer inertia on flat rates is not a bug in the system. It is the revenue model functioning as designed. The information is technically available. That word. Technically. It does the heavy lifting. Try finding your utility's time-of-use options on their website. You will navigate past energy-saving tips, rebate programs, payment plans, and outage maps before you find a buried link to rate plan comparisons. The option exists. The path to it is an obstacle course. Consumer advocates have pointed this out for years. Millions of potential savings go unclaimed because the entity responsible for offering the plan has a financial incentive not to explain it. And then there is the cautionary tale. Puget Sound Energy in Washington state attempted a large-scale time-of-use rollout. They moved 300,000 customers onto a new rate structure. But the rate differential was insufficient. The gap between peak and off-peak was too small to motivate behavioral change. Customers saw confusing bills. 10% opted out. The program was shut down. The industry pointed to it as proof that customers do not want time-of-use pricing. What it actually proved is that a poorly designed program with an inadequate price signal fails. The lesson the industry took was not to design better programs. It was to stop trying. The failure set residential time-of-use adoption back by nearly a decade. Now you know why they do not tell you. Here is what you need to know before you call. If you have made it this far, you already know more about your electricity bill than 96% of American households. That is not an exaggeration. That is the EIA's own data. If that matters to you, subscribe. Share this with someone who pays an electric bill, which is everyone. Before I give you the step-by-step, I need to be honest about who this does not work for. Time-of-use pricing does not save money for every household. If your schedule makes it impossible to shift usage away from peak hours, your bill could go up. If you charge an electric vehicle during peak afternoon hours and cannot change that pattern, Colorado's Public Utilities Commission has specifically flagged that scenario as a risk. Some plans come with a 12-month commitment. If you switch and hate it, you may be locked in for a year before reverting. There are also demand charges. Some time-of-use plans include a separate charge based on your single highest moment of electricity use in a billing period. One bad hour can spike your bill. Critical peak pricing events are another variable. During extreme grid stress, your peak rate can temporarily double or triple. If your household cannot respond to those events, the penalty is real. And if you have opted out of your smart meter, which some utilities allow for a fee of $6 to $13 per month, you're not eligible. No smart meter means no interval data. No interval data means no time-of-use plan. For most households, none of these apply. But I would rather you know the risks before you call than find out on your first bill after. If none of those apply to you, here is exactly what to do. Step 1. Determine if your utility offers a residential time-of-use rate plan. Go to your utility's website and search for time of use, or TOU. If you cannot find it online, call them directly. Rocky Mountain. Power's customer line is 1-888-221-7070. Ask specifically for time of use rate options. Do not ask for ways to save money. That question gets you a speech about LED bulbs. Ask for rate plan alternatives. Step 2, request a rate comparison. Most utilities will run your last 12 months of usage data against their time of use schedule and show you what you would have paid. This is free. If they will not do it, ask to speak with a rate analyst. Step 3, identify your peak, off-peak, and shoulder windows. These vary by utility and by season. Write them down, tape them to your refrigerator. Peak is typically 3 or 4 p.m. to 8 or 9 p.m. on weekdays. Off-peak is usually 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Weekends are often entirely off-peak at rates 50 to 70% lower than weekday peak. Step 4, audit your shiftable loads. These are appliances that do not need to run at a specific time. Dishwashers, clothes washers and dryers, pool pumps, electric vehicle chargers, water heaters. Every one of these can run on a delay timer. Step 5, use the delay start feature. This is the lowest effort win in the entire strategy. Most modern dishwashers and washing machines have a delay start button. Set your dishwasher to run after 9 p.m. Set your laundry for weekends. Program your EV charger to begin at 11 p.m. You press the button at the same time you always do. The machine waits until the rate drops. Step 6, pre-cool your home before peak hours. Set your thermostat to 72 degrees at 2 p.m. When peak pricing kicks in at 4, raise it to 78. Your home holds the cool air for 2 to 3 hours. You ride through the most expensive window without your compressor cycling. A programmable thermostat costs $100 to $300 and saves $240 to $720 per year in optimized scheduling alone. Step 7, monitor your first 3 bills. Compare them to the same months from last year. If you are saving less than expected, look at your peak usage. Smart plugs, which cost $15 to $50 each, can show you exactly which devices are pulling power during expensive hours. Customers who have made the switch describe it the same way. No sacrifice. The dishwasher runs while they sleep. The laundry happens on Saturday morning. The car charges overnight. They change when things happen, not whether things happen. The target is shifting 60% of your consumption to off-peak hours. That is where the $500 to $900 in annual savings lives. If you have solar panels, coupling them with a time of use plan adds another 15 to 25% in savings, because you export power during expensive peak hours and draw from the grid during cheap off-peak hours. That is the playbook. Now let me tell you why this matters more today than it did 5 years ago. Electricity costs are rising. They have risen every year for the past decade, and the trend is accelerating. At the same time, we are electrifying everything. Heat pumps replacing gas furnaces, electric vehicles replacing gasoline cars, induction stoves replacing gas ranges. Every one of those transitions increases your household electricity consumption. And every additional kilowatt hour you consume on a flat rate during peak hours costs you the maximum possible amount. The gap between informed customers and default customers is widening. Every month you stay on a flat rate when a time of use plan would save you money is a month you cannot get back. Over 5 years, that is $2,500 to $4,500. Over 10 years, the number is painful to calculate. Here's what happened. Your taxes funded the meters. The meters enabled the data. The data enables the savings. The savings were never communicated to you, not because the information was classified, because the entity that controls the information profits from your ignorance. One phone call changes that. One behavioral shift maintains it. Tell someone who pays an electric bill. That is everyone you know. The next video covers demand response programs, where your utility will pay you to use less electricity during grid emergencies. Most households qualify. Almost none are enrolled. Same pattern, same silence. The meter is already counting. The question is whether it is counting for you or against you.